Couple things I have handy when I get ready to paint. I usually start out with some gesso poured out onto a palette because I don't want to put a wet brush back in the container or contaminate it in any way. I do a quick light coat. In this case I'm using a cheaper brand from Kmart, I believe, or Walmart, Daler and Rowney. It was about $7 and you get about 16 ounces US. Then I dry it. With a heat gun or a hair blow dryer, whichever you have handy. This gives me sometimes a surface with more tooth. It also gives me a bright, clean, white background for adding color. Then I have a few collage bits handy that I want to stick down. So I'll do that with glue stick. A little more drying. And then this will be random, like everything in collage. Just try to disengage the left brain and just throw something down. Again, not thinking. And then I'm going to layer paint over top to sort of do what I call a knocking down of color. Oops. So that it's not so bright. Sorry about that. And I'll probably add another layer of gesso and then maybe my colors on top of that. So pretty much like that. Then I'll just casually tear off the edges. Not worrying about it. I can always trim them later. And then, did you see that? Then the gesso is going to come right after to knock down those colors. And typically I like to have a baby wipe handy, which I didn't just then. And first I'll hit it with the gun. Getting it partially dry, and then I'll take some of it back off with a baby wipe. Just let some of the colors come through. Another bit of heat gun, and I saw a loose piece come up, so I'll hit that again. Next I'm going to add color paint, which you could do from an oil pastel, could be acrylic paint. I'm going to use Desert Turquoise by Americana. And this is what we've got so far. I used some bits that I had nearby from my ephemera collection, an old recipe book, maybe from the 60s, little bits of a vintage map, something from another vintage book, an old ad, maybe in the back of a magazine, or a Farmer's Almanac. I couldn't think there for a minute. And of course added some gesso over top, glue stick to attach, my heat gun, and baby wipe. Next layer is going to be, as I said, a little bit of paint. In addition to the Americana, I'm using Dr. P.H. Martin's textile airbrush color. I'm in love with these. They're called Ready Tex, and this is silver. And for something this small, I think I'm going to use my fingers. To just do a little paint smudging. Gives me a lot of control, a lot more control, and it also has sort of a dreamy quality to it. I'm going to just soften the edges with a little bit of gesso. Hit it with the heat gun again. And I picked out a focal image which really does require something other than the glue stick that I'm using. I'm going to use my soft gel medium and attach the focal image. And as I usually do the gel medium on top and beneath the image, I'm not going to be careful as to where I lay it down. Sometimes I use a brayer for flattening paper. And, oops. So this is what we have so far. In between shots, I've added a little bit of the silver Liquitex paint for a nice highlight. I also, speaking of highlighters, added pink highlighter around the image, around the focal image, and I also took my water-soluble Neocolor 2s and just ran an edge around for definition. I did black and then I decided to soften it a little bit with a dark green. Sorry for the unsteady hand. I just wanted to give you a close-up next of the gel medium again that I didn't have on camera clearly before. This is the gel medium. It's got a thicker consistency than the liquid medium. This is the gel. I also am going to be using, sorry for reaching, the black gesso, the golden black gesso on the back. This is just something that I like to do. It's a great way to finish a tag like this for trading, putting in the mail, just a nice finished look. So I'm going to grab a, looks like somewhat dirty brush, pour a little bit out onto my palette again. This black gesso that I'm in love with gives almost a chalky finish. I love that look. Dries nice and matte. I'm sure black acrylic paint would work just fine. This is my preference. Sorry for the loud blow dryer. Hold on. There's a couple things you can do with a nice finished back like this. You can put your words on the back if you want to do a quotation or an affirmation, and just maybe add a little bit more design to the front. You can see I got some paint on the image here, which comes off easily with a wet, what am I calling it? Baby wipe. boom, crash. Anyway, that'll work off. I'll continue to work on that off camera, but so you can write on the back if you like. I'm actually going to use the back maybe just for my to and from, and I'm actually going to put the words on the front of the card, the quotation or the affirmation, if you will. So that's it, a nice flat black on the background to write a personal message, and on the front, as you can see, I wrote a great motto: I refuse to lose, sort of in a thought bubble coming out of the reclining model that was actually from a 60s newspaper lying in front of a big console television. So that's that. A little bit of myself there recorded on video to share with you how I make a healing tag or a healing card. And I'll be putting this one in the mail tomorrow. Bye.